Swoon on with Sanctuary of Reality, my comic review series. It's time now for Cerebus issue 164, the 14th chapter of Mothers and Daughters. Cerebus has fallen into the home of a woman called Cerna. As her Serenist custodian named Vera transcribes everything she says, Cerna talks about a chess analogy and explains how women have the ability to read minds. And currently, women all over Astarcion are using this ability to change and absorb the minds of men in power. This detailed revelation angers Vera until she gives up her transcribing duties and storms off to alert the other guards. What is Cerna's ulterior motive in making this revelation to Cerebus? Meanwhile, Elrod is being prepared to be sacrificed by an angry mob of the city's men. Punisher Roach swipes drapes from a funeral home and uses it as a new costume for his newest incarnation, called Swoon, a pale and dark-eyed gothic being. Will he even rescue Elrod? Rounding out the issue, the Pick Society is reborn. Astoria shops for jewelry. Siren learns of more files that are missing. And another pair of opposing Kevalist Sirenist text pages, this time on polyamory versus the time limits of beauty. Swoon is a parody of DC Comics' Sandman character, particularly the Neil Gaiman series version. Snuff is also a direct reference to Death, who was Sandman's sister in that series. Neil supposedly loves this parody. Neil was a Cerebus fan from way back. He interviewed Dave in the mid-'80s, and before he started writing Sandman. So it was nice to, I think it's a badge of honor to have somebody who comes up from nothing and becomes a big time writer to have one of their creations be parodied in a book that they enjoyed. I think that's a nice tribute as a result. There's a lot more coming up that we'll take from that series, so if you have any familiarity with Sandman, that's a positive. If you don't, it doesn't matter, because it's still very entertaining and humorous. I mean, I've never fully read Sandman. I've read a few issues, but I had the absolutes, but I had to sell them before I could finish reading them, unfortunately. But I think that the Sandman parody in this series is cleverly done, and it's definitely the highlight of this particular phone book. So be on the lookout for more of that as we go along. Who is Cerna? Should I spoil the eventual reveal? It's kind of convoluted in a little way if you don't address it properly, but let's just say Cerna is not her birth name. Someone else has taken that from her. What she raises in this issue is interesting. It's not something we ever get full elaboration on that I recall, but simply put, women read minds, at least in Cerebus' world. It's more than women's intuition. We've seen Sirenists telepathically talking to each other for a while now, but this outright states that all women have the ability to do so, although we've seen people like Jaka and other women in this book not quite have the adept ability. So it's definitely something more Sirenists and maybe Kevalists have the capability of doing. It raises an interesting point about how the Sirenists were able to overtake the city of East without much bloodshed. They were able to use their mental manipulation abilities to ease the transition. Although you got to figure there was a power vacuum going on with Cerebus taken off into the moon, so that probably had a lot more to do with it as well. So, but is Serna making a mountain out of a molehill here? Is she overstating things a bit? For theatrical sake, because she's just trying to anger Vera and to get Vera to leave so she can talk to Cerebus a little more openly. But I don't know. I think with every great revelation in this series, it's really up to the reader to decide how much of that is true. Because look at the judge. We thought the judge was all-knowing, and it turns out Swentius Poe was like, no, he didn't know what he's talking about. So maybe this is a little overstated. But, well, it doesn't really matter at this point. Like I said, we don't really get too much elaboration on it. It's not that important as we go along. Remember, Cerna is an unreliable narrator, just like Judge and Swentius Poe and anybody other than, I guess, Tarim. Next time, even the judge goes emo.